guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Allie and I post a lot of book content, vlogs, and beauty videos. Today I have my first ever read and rank video and I'm going to be talking about the Finlay Donovan series. But now you're gone again. I'll take all your issues, you can have my friends. I plan on taking you guys with me as I have read them and kind of giving you guys my feedback like on each book in the series. A little rundown, this is a 3-book series as of now. She has signed on to do, I think like 3 or 4 more books, so it is going to be a continuing series following Finlay Donovan. This is a series by Elle Cosimano, and I would describe her writing style very fun, kind of quirky, but in a good way. I feel like there has been a little bit of like that cheesiness as like the series has progressed, but overall I've been very happy with her work and I really have liked the quirkiness and I've loved the characters. I love the overall plot and how the story started. A brief synopsis of the series. So Finlay Donovan is a now single mom after her POS ex-husband cheated on her with their accountant and is now living with that said accountant. She is navigating this single mom life with her 2 kids and trying to also be this writer. She writes mystery thriller books that also have like love intertwined with them. She feels she's not doing a great job of balancing all of it because it can be really hard. In a lot of ways, it's very relatable. I am a mom of 2 and I know like doing any type of like freelance work or like any type of, you know, work from home for me has always been a struggle when my kids are around, so it was very relatable in a lot of aspects, and I think that the author did a really good job of making that very relatable as the quote-unquote hashtag mom life. But Finlay goes to meet her agent at a Panera Bread restaurant, and as she is sitting down talking about her synopsis or like what she's coming up with for this new book she has coming out, something happens, her agent has to leave, and what Finlay is realizing is that there is a lady close by who's been listening the whole time to Finlay describing this like murder plot, and so the lady gets up and slips her a piece of paper with a name and a number. This is pretty much to buy her as a hit woman to off someone. And so it's very quirky, it's funny, it's kind of like this miscommunication, like this lady thought she had heard something, she thought Finlay is like an actual hit woman, and then the story just unravels, and it's one of those that stuff kind of happens where like the character is not really like meaning to have that kind of stuff happens, but the story just continues, and it is so, it's such a fun ride, and the characters make it enjoyable, and I think if you like cozy mysteries, I think you'll like this series. I do think I have, now that I've finished the 3 of these, I have like some thoughts about like where it's going that maybe are not my favorite, but as a whole, I've really enjoyed reading this series. So I'm excited to take you guys along with me, and we're going to jump into book 1. I don't think about you, but it's all sweet. Gone again. I'll take all your issues, you can have my friends. I don't miss you on my phone screen. Now I save it to Good morning to you guys. Just made my latte and thought I would come in here and start a new video. And I honestly have no idea what I'm doing with the series. Like, look at me starting a new series, but I definitely want to bring back some of my recent ones. I haven't been a great planner lately, but I'm trying, you guys. One of the things that I've really struggled with this past year is starting a bunch of series and then not following through, and now I feel like a lot of like untied loose ends and not knowing what happens in a series, and then I'm just like, oh my gosh, I miss that series so much, I want to know what happens, and back and forth, and I'm tired of it. So I'm hoping that this little read and rank series will help me get back into series and finish them out while filming the process for you guys. And I wanted to start with the Finlay Donovan series because I've been reading it quite a bit lately. So I recently finished this one. This is the Finlay Donovan is Killing It. It is book 1 in the series, and I feel like they're a decent amount, especially for like a thriller mystery type of vibe. I'll probably mention the synopsis to you guys in the intro of this video, so I want to do that when I have makeup on because I'm just like, it is what it is. It's literally 8 something in the morning, but I gave this book 5 out of 5. I really love the character dynamic is incredible. The way that they introduce characters in this is great. It's very fast paced. It's quirky. It's fun. It's funny. Like, the humor is impeccable. And on top of that, like, I don't know, like, I feel like I just like really resonate with the humor. Like, it's not like that like cringy or too cheesy humor. Like, it's a very relatable, and I feel like even if you're not a single mom, because I'm not a single mom, I feel like you can still relate with Finlay so much. My husband's at work in the mornings, I'm getting my boys ready for school, and it gets chaotic, it gets crazy, and I love that, like, she really displays that really well in this book. And although Finlay is a single mother, she does have Vero, who is her, at this point, kind of like live-in nanny, and so that kind of comes into play, and you know, she helps out a lot. So although Finlay is really whelmed, she does have her people, and I love Vero's character so much. Honestly, I think if it wasn't for Vero, I probably wouldn't rate this book as high as what I am doing, because I do really like Finlay, but I just feel like Vero is like the perfect character to kind of, I guess, make Finlay more exciting. And yeah, the only confusing part I kind of have with this one is the love triangle. And I'm so torn. Like, who am I supposed to like right now? I don't really know, but I am really intrigued to see where this goes as the series continues. And while I'm going to try to be super vague with you guys and not be too spoilerly, I just feel like some of these details I kind of want to discuss in this series, or yeah, in the series, the Read and Rank series, because I do want this ultimately to be like a good, should you read this series or should you not? So although I don't want to spoil too much for you guys, I still want to give you some of the details to know what you're looking forward to if you haven't picked up this series yet. But if you have read this series, then I hope it's just like more entertaining for you to see me read it and see my thoughts and where it goes. Because although I feel like this book and even the second book in the series are ranked pretty high as far as like average ratings go on Goodreads anyways, the third one that recently came out, it hasn't been doing as well. And as I'm sure a lot of us are aware now, the author Elle, she actually signed on to do additional books. I think there's going to end up being at least 7 in the series, which is a little mind-blowing to me. But you know what? If this woman can pull this off, have at it, because I'm loving the writing style. It's so fun and fast-paced, and just you're not bored for a second. Like, it's so entertaining, and I absolutely love it. And I know I'm probably going to mention it again because of how this one wraps up a little bit, but Steven, the ex-husband, is a douchebag, and I am pretty sure he's going to come into play a lot more in the second book, and I'm not really here for it. But at the same time, the plot sounds like it's going to be so interesting and so much fun. So yeah, stay tuned for my thoughts on that one. But since this is towards the beginning of the video, please let me know what you guys think of this series. If you guys end up watching the whole thing and enjoying it, please let me know, because I would love to do more with other series that I have recently started. Kind of help motivate me to get through them, because it's I need to actually start following through with some things.
I don't think about you, but it's all summer days, don't miss your taste.
Alright, you guys, I have finished Finlay Donovan Knocks 'Em Dead. I flew through this one. Literally started it one day and then finished it the next day because I couldn't put it down. It's actually due back at my library and I'm like, I got it in just in time. But I'm flying through this series, but I'm loving it so much. I honestly don't even want it to end yet. I can kind of see, without giving anything away from this one, I can kind of see where people are talking about like having more of an issue with it. I don't think it'll be an issue for everybody. Like right now it's not an issue for me because I'm along for the ride, I'm having fun. But I think what a lot of people are having an issue with is that the longevity of it, like it's like she's going to stretch a certain plot or certain things of the story for as long as she can. Now, ask me again when I get to book 7, since she has signed the deal. I think I mentioned that in the first part of this video. I think I did, but she has signed where she's going to be doing the seven books in the series, which I'm just excited to see where it goes. I think she's changed it up enough to where I think it will kind of spiral out into different story plots instead of just sticking to this one. But this one, the one plot that she's still going with though, it's still like a major plot. And I'm like, I'm here for it. I want to know what happens. Although I don't think anything like too crazy is going to happen with it, if I'm being honest. But I'm still loving the characters. This one, we kind of just dive right headfirst into where the first book left off because it is kind of like a cliffhanger moment. But this one I felt like it was just kind of nice jumping in. Like it's just like a cozy read. You already know the characters. It's the same dynamic with Finlay and Vero that I just absolutely love. Still not liking Steven, the ex-husband. He is so clingy in this one and it's just like, oh, Finlay, and I don't know. She keeps writing about him in a way that like, I think because of the plot, like she's trying to make the readers kind of feel for him a little bit and make Finlay feel for him a little bit, but I'm like, it's not working. I don't like him. And I hope that Finlay doesn't cave. I don't see her character doing that. I think her character is too strong of a person, too strong of a woman. She's a very strong woman. I do not see her taking him back. And I'm like, please don't. But I felt like this one did cover a lot because there is so much going on with the plots. She's still kind of being looked at as this like murder, you know, murder for hire type of vibe. It's still very much like the first one that I really liked. But at the same time, she definitely added a lot more. She kept it very, very interesting. Now, I did give this one a 4 instead of a 5 like the first one, only because, I don't know, I think there was a certain element of just like so much excitement with the first one that I felt like I still had with this one, but not as much, just because it does feel in some instances a little repetitive, but like, that sounds bad. It's really not though. I could see myself rereading this whole series, so typically I would probably give this a 5, but I think as the series continues, unless something mind-blowing happens, I think the rest would probably fall into 3 or 4, just because I get that the rest of the series is probably going to get pretty repetitive, but I'm still giving it a 4. I liked the characters. I liked, you know, what was going on in the story and where it's taking us right now. I did have a really hard time with like the love triangle going on right now. I'm having a really hard time. I don't know how I'm supposed to feel and it's driving me insane. I'm like, who am I supposed to like? And then you start looking into it and you're just like, who is she going to pick? And like, if she picks one of them, like, is she gonna be like screwed by the other one? Like, is the other one gonna, I don't know. I feel like people close to her are starting to know too much, I guess. So yeah, I'm kind of starting to get like on the edge of my seat and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I cannot wait to start the next one. I do have it on hold, so hopefully I will get it soon from my library. But I do think that this is a series that I would end up buying the books. Like, they're so much fun. And the first one I just read. This one I read and then I did the audiobook too. The audiobook is so good. I think I found it on Hoopla, but the third one is newer, so it's not on there. And I don't know if it's unscribed, but I'm going to probably cave and get it on Audible or something if, because I think I have credits on there. So I think I'm going to end up caving and doing that and starting the third one, maybe even before I get the book, because I want to know what happens next. And the narrator, phenomenal. Loved it so much. She's so entertaining and just does an amazing job with it. I love the accents that she does, like with like the Russian mob and all of that. So good. But stay tuned, because I'm going to be starting the third one. So I just wrapped book 3. This one is Finlay Donovan Jumps the Gun, and we have another beautiful, stunning cover. I really love the covers of these books. What I can say is that I can see where a lot of people are coming from. This is kind of where it starts to fall off for a lot of people, and a lot of people are just like, I'm done, I'm not doing this anymore. It was crazy to me to see reviews for her books for this series from the first book from 5 stars drop to 2 stars for this book. But I can see both sides. I feel like there is still a bunch of people who are super, super excited that this is a continuing series, but I can also see where other people are kind of like, we're done, we don't need this anymore. She really is drawing out this story, and I kind of wish she would kind of just wrap up some loose ends with this one and maybe like have another bomb drop to where it starts another whole thing. And while she does a good job at that with each book, and even this one, I'm still intrigued. There's certain aspects of this towards the end that happen that make me excited for the next one still, but at the same time, there's other loose ends that are still not tied up, so we're like, how is that going to come back into the story, where we're kind of like, okay, we've read this for 3 books, we're good, we don't want to know any more about it. So in this one, Finlay is still being sought out by the Russian mob and kind of being blackmailed at this point to like work for them. And while she's at it, she's also, of course, writing another book that has pretty much the same storyline as the last couple, but you know, her editor is telling her like they want more spice, they want more with like this, the cop, and blah 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 blah. And while she's also, her life is trying to navigate her relationship with the actual cop Nick and try to figure those things out, while her sister signs her up for police academy to go with Vero. And then what was weird to me was like also like Mrs. Haggerty, like the old neighbor, she shows up, and like, I don't know, I just found it like very weird. I guess it was kind of like not really like Police Academy as much as like just bringing people along to get a feel of what Police Academy is kind of like. So maybe it's just like journalist and like her as an author being able to go. So I think that is more of the vibe or what she was trying to get across. But sometimes it was almost like so serious, like they were in academy, that I was just like, this is just too weird for me. But yeah, she goes to academy, and you know, things kind of start going down, things start happening, and it's kind of a continuation of the story. It's really hard to give the synopsis without spoiling things that have happened in the past 2 books. But things are very intertwined. She's also figuring out her relationship with Nick in this one. We still have Steven, who is acting suspicious and, you know, kind of starting to maybe connect some dots with what Finlay has been doing. And then we also get some more clues into Vero's past life and who she's hanging around with, and, you know, what has happened with her. And again, the Russian mob, you guys. Overall, I think I would give this one 3 stars. And I think I've kind of dropped as we've went. I went from 5 stars with the first, 4 stars I believe with the second, and now 3 stars with the third. Before I jump into a little spoilery section, I wanted to just say, I think still, if you like cozy mysteries, if you like series of books that continue on, even maybe like I feel like these would be good books for even like crime fiction who want a little bit more of like the like cozy crime. There is crime, there is stuff. It's not as gory or as intense as like I feel like the majority of crime in books, but I feel like if you like that type of vibe, I think that you would really like this, because as we continue, there is like plots where she's trying to like solve a mystery or solve a crime and trying to figure out who certain people are, and then of course there's death and, you know, different things like that in it. But at the same time, from a crime standpoint, it is definitely more cozy, because it is kind of like a cozy mystery type of book. But this one had, I feel like, a lot of action, and it was a lot more intense in moments, more like almost like fight scenes. But yeah, I feel like my overall thoughts of the complete series is I really enjoyed the ride of it. I still am loving the characters. I am a little confused about where it's going with certain people. I feel like there has been like some plot holes when it comes to more so Vero's storyline, and like her background has been a little strange for me to follow along now. I feel like there's some things there that I kind of wish that the author wouldn't have went to, or would have made it maybe something different than what she did. But you know what? A story like this has to completely continue, so maybe there's a lot that we don't know that we're going to find out in the next book. And without giving too much away, I think the next book is going to focus a lot on Vero, so I'm really excited about that. And I will be continuing the series. I am excited to see how the next one is, and I actually read these 3 books pretty back to back, and I never was bored. I was excited to read them, and they were just super enjoyable and just easy to read. I continue to want to pick them up and continue the story. And like I mentioned, if you are a fan of audiobooks, I would definitely pick up the audiobook on these because it's so good. The narration is amazing. I actually really enjoy reading these, but hearing the audiobooks, I kind of went back and forth because I loved the narrator so much. Now I'm going to jump into a little bit of a spoilery section, so I will just say here, thank you so much for watching. If you do want to close this out, I think I'm going to actually try with this one to not give too much away. I think my future read and rank videos, I'm going to have more spoiler sections to actually break down the books a little bit more with people who maybe have already read these. But for this one, I think I will just keep it short and sweet and not go too far, but at the same time, it still may give some things away, or I don't want to slip and give maybe a little too much away and then be like, oh, you know. So yeah, I will just say if you do not like spoilers, I would probably skip this next section of the video, but I do really appreciate you watching. Now jumping into some spoilers. So I think, I don't know, for me, I really wish that there was more with Steven. I feel like with Finlay getting the hit to, you know, off Steven, her ex-husband, I kind of wish we had more of that. Like, this guy, like, I'm not saying like I condone like the killing and stuff like that, but I feel like for a book to kind of make it a little bit more like adventurous and like, you know, out there, I really wish something like that would have went down, where maybe Finlay had to decide between him and somebody else, or I don't know, just something, because he is still lingering on. I feel like his character has been pretty pointless at this point. I don't like him like now trying to like get back with Finlay. It's just weird. I don't like it. But the plot twist to find out at the end, I think of the second book, that it was Finlay's mom who put the hit out accidentally on him. So good. I kind of wish it wasn't like accidental, like she really wanted the hit out on him so that she could kind of like join in Finlay and Vero with like their journey of all of this. Like, what if them 3 like accidentally killed him, or, you know, something like that. I just think would have been like so cool. The police academy really threw me off. I felt like it was like just very weird and just cheesy at moments, but I loved the part where they were out on like the venture trying to find the crime scene, and they found like the dummy who was like killed the same way as the guy. I think, was it in the first book or the second book? I think it was in the first book, and it was like, I think it had like his badge or something like that on him, and I was like, so cool. I wanted more of that aspect, but I felt like it kept then shifting back to like the romance, which, don't get me wrong, I really do love Finlay and Nick. I'm starting to come around to it a little bit more, but at the same time, like, I would still be okay with it just being Finlay. And that's what I'm kind of hoping for in the 4th book, is that we get a little bit more of Vero, maybe a little bit of romance with Vero, but like kind of toning down more on that and just, you know, these women are such strong characters that I feel like we don't really need full romance here. And I just felt like there was so much you could have done more with the story plot of making it maybe even like a little bit more of like a thriller than I guess where it went with this one. And I also just found like this one had so many more plot holes, like why Vero was arrested in the past, or she had a warrant for her arrest, and like just like the stupidest concepts, you guys, that I was just like, what? And then the end, deleting the footage and then just jumping in the car and being like, we're going. It's like, okay, but where's your kids? There's, I don't know, you guys. And then like, I feel like at this point, if Nick was like this like hotshot detective and like so good at his job, like wouldn't he have been able to put a lot more of these clues together, you guys? Which I think we're gonna get there. I think if Steven is figuring this out, come on. I don't know. I too am a little frustrated with the 3rd one, but I still think that they are just fun books. I'm going to be really disappointed if the next book is also like a 3-star, like if they're just going to stay at a 3-star, because I do feel like the series had a really, really big potential. I just feel like more big things need to happen. And I'm not saying we have to kill off main characters, but I feel like as we are adding on characters, maybe build up on them a little bit and then start offing some more. You know, I don't know. I just feel like the story needs something, but I am super excited that it sounds like it's going to be a road trip book with Finlay and Vero. So I think we're going to have a little bit more or a little less of the mom life, which I think a lot of people want less of from the critiques I have seen. Which I feel like there was less of that in this one since she was at the academy in the 3rd book. But I feel like there's going to be even less than that since she's going to be on a road trip with Vero. I feel like we're going to get more Vero, which I'm excited about. Maybe more of her love life, less of Finlay's. But yeah, I don't know where it's going to go from here. I'm also really hoping like it's less of the Russian mob, but it doesn't look like that. So yeah, I kind of wish the Russian mob thing would kind of like tie up at this point and we could just go back to like the way things were, I guess, or the way things started unraveling in the first place, but who knows? Let me know if you guys have read any of these books, what you think of them, and if you're feeling maybe around the same as I am, or if the 3rd one, I've seen a couple of people say the 3rd one was their favorite. So yeah, I'm always interested to see what everybody else thinks. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoy this new Read and Rank series. I've been working on another one, so stay tuned for that, and I will see you guys in my next video.
What you want to talk about?
What you trying to get at?
Very cold on the boat, man, it's my RT. Hit 'em all like a joke, man, it's all I fear. Catch 'em all, fuck 'em all, so bright.